Good morning. My name is Cheryl Herkey, and this is my channel. So today I'm going over to my friend Allison and Jeff's house. They have just been in recovery for the reason for the jab, and I'm did their laundry. I'm going to check them out, make sure they're fine, and they are very, very weak. The goal is to see all these people who made this lined up for trials because it's insidious. And we will overcome. We will get through this. We will be stronger because we know our enemy. So last night, I was watching someone I don't get to see very much anymore is Pryme, and he was reviewing a 107 video with Tom the Numbers. Now, Tom the Numbers is from, I think he's from the Europe, but he has a hard, I can't understand a lot of times when he's speaking. Also, it's all numbers. And from where I sit, I've not been about all the numbers, but I think I better. So this is what I kind of got out of it. And I've been watching this for a while. I've been awake for a long time. At September 11th, there was a switch that went off in my head that said, this is not right. And I, like many Americans, got involved with the Tea Party movement. And I ran a group in my town that I lived in New York. And it was very strong. No problem getting people to attend. No problem to get money to do things because people were motivated. And then the second year of Obama miraculously winning, people just gave up. And I get it. I get it. I mean, the Republican Party machine is quite strong, and they just took over. You know, we took over. And even Carl ran for office in a Republican town. And really, because Andy Cuomo is a top-down kind of leader, you really couldn't affect change as much as people thought they could. So then when the number 17 showed up, I was already very curious as to what God was going to do to save us, because I knew we were perpetually going down and not getting any better. So I noticed over time that the 17th letter would produce a post, and it was numbered. And many times the time was noted in the post, and that was sort of a way of tracking. Then over time, our president, when he had Twitter, would post his posts with times and with words that it would associate. He would capitalize letters that shouldn't be capitalized, and so then you would pull those. And then people were using gematria, and it was quite complicated. But yet, that was the way we were being communicated with all through this time. Then we got to where the president lost his Twitter, and now we've not received any Q posts. And I think I don't need necessarily a Q post because I see what the media is doing. They're our enemy. They are a part of the war. They're the enemy. And so I see what they are doing right like that. And that took 2 years of being involved with Q and having them tell us the things that we knew. And the 17th letter is part of this whole process. So now we have people like myself and others who are way more intelligent than me. We have all kinds of groups. And this is the kind of the breakdown. And I don't mean to be disrespectful. We have the people who are 17th letter, like Bible people. They stick to it because they're not going to take any other help from Intel, from anyone. They're only going to stick to what they can see in the posts. Then we have the people, Scott McKay's and all those folks and the Ninos that are, this is a battle. We have to get involved. We have to change things because this might go on for a long time. And then we have the Charlie Ward types, which is quantum banking will come in, and then the cabal won't have any money to hurt us, and then they will slowly just go on into their own death because they'll be in jail. And then we have the people like 107, who is a military man. And there's several people like him that are military men. And they kind of have this leaning that whatever happened in Area 51 and the new Space Force is kind of where we're heading. And then what he said, I was struck, and I had to listen to it again. I was up really late last night. I do that. I went down the rabbit hole. And what he said when he talked about the Babylon tower, that it was kind of like the first Space Force. And I was intrigued by that statement. And then what God did to stop it is he confused everyone by mixing up the languages so people could no longer understand that. And then he made the analogy about us here now, that we have the Space Force and that the people who are running it are using zeros and ones, computer work type of things, and numbers to communicate with us. And that made sense to me. So because that made sense to me, I have to think about the things we talked about a year ago in the 17 posts. They began to talk about the yellow cube and the other things that they had learned apparently from the aliens. I'm getting more and more open to everything. I don't say I don't believe in anything anymore because I don't know. I'm clearly learning. But what they were saying in all this is that the Greys provided information so that they could develop, Operation Looking Glass, and would have the ability with computers in the cube, which is a computer-based, they would be able to see the future based on the circumstances fed into it. And that we have that. So we have the ability to see. So I always wondered, why is it that these 17 posts are so numeric and they're almost, year over year, they're on goal? Because they have access to see things in the future. Now, before you stop this video and not listen to me anymore, you have to be open to the fact that we are going to be looking at things in a quantum in the future, meaning that a computer that is set up to make our lives easier may very well have the ability to do things that we just don't know about yet. And we're just going to have to wait and see what it means. But we have to be open to that and think, okay, I don't get everything. I don't understand everything. I understand trees. I understand water. I understand cooking. I understand what I can actually see. But yet in the spiritual, I know that God has to save us from this AI. He has to. Because we won't be able to love the Lord Jesus Christ if we don't have our own brains. So I know that he's involved in this. And he also, another thing that Juan said that intrigued me, that Satan is called, the Satan of the air. And so the air is anything above our earth. And that Space Force doesn't necessarily mean space. And that the devil doesn't have the ability to see the future, but God and the quantum does. And that's why we have the advantage. And so what he was saying is they'll set up a scenario, and because the cabal and their minions can only read the five senses, then they're going to react to what information is put out. So I'm going to present to you that all these groups that I talked about earlier, that are, the 17 Anons and the Charlie Wards and the Ninos and all these different groups, they get information, intel, some of which, well, let me just say it this way. I listen to everyone and I love everyone. And I think that we have to have unity and accept that people have different gifts. But I believe none of it. I go inside my head and I calculate all the things I've learned over my whole life and over time and over the MK Ultra and all the things that I have been gone through to get to where I am now. And I say, what makes sense to me, Cheryl? And what makes sense to me, Cheryl, is that we have to have quantum thinking. And that may be a new concept to you, but go look up Project Looking Glass, go look up Yellow Cube. And I'm hoping it's still on the internet. A year ago, I watched hours and hours and hours of information where there was a gentleman who worked with the Greys, and they developed many things, also Area 51. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is that because very soon we are going to get a report on UFOs in June. So I don't know if it's related or if it's a warm up for the big pitch, but I am open to whatever happens in the future, because I think that God is in charge and that we win. So that's just my thoughts today, because I've been thinking about this since yesterday. Hug someone today, take off the mask, realize that you are in charge of your mind, and you are no better or worse than anyone else. We all are in the process of learning. So give yourself a break when you don't have time to study this stuff. I lost my job, and from the thingies that we've been dealing with all month. So I'm blessed to have the time to put into this. And I understand that perhaps you don't, and that we can't learn everybody. I can't listen to everyone. You can't either. So we just have to go to our own moral compass, listen, be open, and know that God's in charge. So have a good day. Talk to you soon. God bless you all.